Hello everyone on YouTube, TheMainManSWE here, the dad of the Tekken community. I hope you're all doing well as always. I very rarely get like super duper interesting questions from my community and viewers on Twitch, but I thought this one was really good. Salfo asks, if you could annihilate, so remove 5 characters from the roster, who would those be outside of DLC? So it's a little bit of a, who should be in Tekken 8. So who should I remove from the default roster? And I almost want to include Leroy, Lydia, Fakum Ram, because they are pretty much going to be in the default roster of Tekken 8. They are certainly not going to be DLC characters in Tekken 8. But I wouldn't want to remove either of them because as problematic as I still see Leroy, he has to stay just because of his amazing visuals, his design, his voice, all of that works so well. And who doesn't like Ip Man? It's just that his gameplay is insanely uninteresting and problematic from a balancing standpoint. But I think if I was to ask casual Tekken players, so not the nerds watching me right now, well, you're a nerd like me, you're hardcore into this game. Chances are, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're watching me right now on Twitch, you're a huge Tekken nerd and enthusiast, like me. And we know Leroy is a problem. But if you're a casual Tekken player, you probably think Leroy is the best thing to ever happen to Tekken. He looks really cool. He's like Ip Man, la 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 la, and he's really strong and he carries you. It's like, what's not to like? And he's got a pimp cane. He's got a, what's not to like? So all things considered, if I was to remove 5 characters, I would start with Lucky Chloe. I think Lucky Chloe is the worst character of all time. I think this is very subjective, of course, but she represents everything I dislike. I like characters who are fighters in a fighting game. That's why I love Lydia as a female character. She's a fighter. She's badass. You can really take her seriously. But this is the Tekken comic relief, like Kuma, for example, comic relief. And it's just stretched beyond 10. It's like 11 out of 10 in like just goofy garbage. And it's a K-pop. Oh, sorry, we're out of music, so I'm just gonna do this. But it's basically, is she supposed to be a J-pop, K-pop singer? La la la, 1, 2, 3, la la la. It's like a backup dancer. It's just horrible. It's so far and away from my personal tastes. And I also despise her gameplay. Her gameplay is Xiaoyu. It's not like Xiaoyu is a character for rocket scientists, but there is some complexity to playing Xiaoyu. So it's basically a super easy Tekken 7 version of Xiaoyu. It's just, you can mash and a lot of things happen. Insane crushing, insane damage, extremely gimmicky. Everything I just really dislike is in this character. So Chloe is number 1 of my on my list of characters that should not be in the game. On second place, I would have to put Hoochie Mama. I can't even find her. Where's Catalina? This is how interested I am in Catalina. Oh, she's next to Jin, actually. Everything I dislike in a character. Looks like a Big Brother contestant. Very, I'm sorry, pretty, I gotta say, trashy. It's like, oh, here's my thong. Here's my visible thong. My heart tattoo above my vagina. Here are my big juicy tits, just out with them in public. And the glasses, and it's like, and the outfit isn't even very cool. I don't know, everything about Catalina is so generic. Outside of, well, huge tits is very generic in a fighting game. It's not very controversial or new. So very curvy lady that you would find as a Big Brother contestant. Trashy. Gameplay, super uninteresting. Just your typical modern Tekken 7 character where everything is very, very easy. Even in intermediate level of play, mashing a button, like the 4 button or the 3 button, it's not bad. Just enormously uninteresting character. I would remove pretty much straight away. I think those two are my biggest, like, these characters are garbage. And to be honest, it's like the Tekken 6 newcomers were very weak in my opinion. And the Tekken 7 newcomers aren't that much better. Shaheen, it's great to get some representation of the Middle East in the game. But he's so fucking bland. There's nothing interesting about him. And you can tell because no one plays him. So Shaheen is one of these characters where if they removed him, I wouldn't even notice because it's like he doesn't exist to me. I never see him, ever. So I don't know if I would remove him, but he needs a complete visual overhaul. And his intros as well. It's like, Jesus, do something with him. So I don't know if I would put him on the remove list. But Bob would probably be on the list. Leo, who's a better example of a character that has to be removed? Claudio is so dull. So dull. Gigas. Gigas, his design is useless. Do you think in an Arkham game, a Batman Arkham game, do you think a boss is like that? No. Oh, sorry, I dropped my microphone. God, I hope it didn't explode in all kinds of noises. Oh, it did. It did. Is it all right now? I'm sorry, everyone. This microphone is very sensitive. Is it fine now? Okay, thank God. This guy would not be allowed to be a boss in a Batman Arkham game. He would be a henchman to the boss. He would be like a normal, maybe a mini boss, a slightly larger normal enemy that you would encounter on a stage. That would be Gigas. I can't even understand this made it out of the artists, the concept artists, you know, the pipeline. I can't even, how was this approved? He's just so dull. And if you compare, he was meant to replace Marduk, obviously. But he's nowhere near as interesting as Marduk. Nowhere even close to being as interesting as Marduk. So as much as people dislike Marduk from a balancing standpoint, I would have Marduk be one of the default characters in Tekken 8, and I would remove Gigas. So he's gonna be my third character, and I like Gigas. I kind of like playing him, but I would remove Gigas. We need to cut down on characters for Tekken 8, and Gigas does not deserve one of the slots. Leroy will take his slot, or Lydia, or Marduk. So I would remove Gigas. He's gonna be my third character to remove. And fourth character, honestly, I'd probably remove Bob. I don't see him being a default character. I mean, what? Token fat guy like what's his name, Rufus in Street Fighter. absolutely bland. And what's the joke? Oh, I'm fat. Look, I'm fat, but I can do a backflip. That's the joke. That's the joke with Bob. And I wish... Do you know how I could feel he could stay? Just go over the top with him. Go all out. Why doesn't he start a match, you know, the intro, with a helmet, with 2 energy drinks, with pipes going into his mouth, or straws?
Will you shut up, Harris?
I'm so fucking fat! And then he eats a burger. And licks his fingers. Just go all out. Or no, he flops his tits when he wins. Just go all out with it. You know, instead it's this harmless joke. Oh, I'm fat, haha, I can do a backflip. Speed and weight. It's, I don't know, it's so bland, it's so dull. So I would either take it to the max, the joke that he's fat, or just remove him, because right now he's so bland. He's so bland. So I would remove Bob. And then who would be my 5th pick? It's like, it could be Miguel, but it's like his visuals are decent enough for him to stay, and he has a lot of energy in his intro and win poses, and the voice actor does a great job, so I might have him stay just because of that. I don't like Josie at all, but I know a lot of people like Josie. I'd much rather see Bruce again. Alyssa I really dislike, but I know a lot of people like Alyssa, so she would get to stay just because of that. I'm just trying to get to characters where I feel like they don't serve any function whatsoever. I mean, Panda is a skin. Okay, so right now we have Chloe, an obvious pick in my opinion. We have Catalina, an obvious pick. We have Gigas, in my opinion, an obvious pick. Bob, maybe not so obvious, but to me, yeah, he should go. And Shaheen, it's like I want to have him stay just because it's a Middle Eastern character, and I know that they could do something great with him, but they really, really dropped the ball. So I'm not gonna pick Shaheen. So yeah, again, I'm not picking DLC characters. Who's the 5th character? But I'm still torn between, do you need 2 Muay Thai fighters? Should you keep Josie if you have Fakum Ram? Fakum Ram is more interesting than Josie in my opinion. Both his design and also from a gameplay perspective. Even though he's too busted right now, he's more interesting if they reworked him. So I feel like you don't need 2 Muay Thai fighters. Yeah, I'd remove Josie actually. And sorry, maybe controversial, not that I'm afraid of controversial stances, as you might know. But I'd probably remove Josie, actually. We don't need 2 Muay Thai fighters. I would keep Fakum Ram, remove Josie. Why do I dislike Josie? Let's just take her visuals. In the lore, she's a model, isn't she? Oh, she's what, 19? And she's a model, and rail thin, like models are. I mean, the diet is 1 apple a day and 1 pound of coke. And but she's an amazing fighter as well, a Muay Thai fighter. Right, I can see that happening. And she has she's rail thin, but she has enormous tits. Because why not? And then she has this skimpy little cutesy outfit. okay, and she looks like a little girl in her face, like a doll. You know, as many female fighters do in Tekken. I prefer this look. So, yeah, I don't like the visuals. I much prefer, if you play Virtua Fighter, have you seen Vanessa? Who's a mix of a kickboxer and Marduk. And she has a little bit similar look to Josie in terms of her face, but she is way more badass. Way more badass. I would be way more sympathetic to Josie if she looked more like Vanessa. So the visuals I don't care for at all. Oh, and oh, by the way, have you seen her win pose? I can't believe I won. I don't know how many times. Thank God no one picks her, so I never see her, but every time I have to see her intro win pose, it just pisses me off. What were they thinking? Ravon? And then her gameplay, it's basically Bruce, but you put him in Tekken 7. So everything is easier. Everything is more mashy, longer strings, more stance options, and the crushing and evasion. If Bruce had some evasion in Tag 2 and prior games, Juicy is evasion on steroids. It's like a Tekken 7 character. Can't hop kick and can't down for a 2 without having almost invincible properties. It's Tekken 7 and it's so stupid. So yeah, I'm gonna say Josie and keep Fakum Ram. Fakum Ram is more interesting but has to be toned down more. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this list. So we have Chloe, who's a joke. We have Catalina, who's a joke. We have Gigas, who's just a failure in terms of design. And who's easily replaced by the more interesting Marduk. And then we had... We didn't go with Shaheen, we went with Bob, who's just a joke to me. Uninteresting and bland. And then we finished it off with Josie, who can be easily replaced with Fakum Ram or Bruce returning, maybe for Tekken 8. And just unbelievably bland Tekken 7 character. Maybe not super bland, but just everything that's wrong with the typical female character design of Tekken 7, in my opinion. Very cutesy and childish. Huge tits. You know, very sexualized and very childish at the same time. And it always rubs me the wrong way. Yeah, the gameplay, it's very uninteresting Tekken 7 gameplay. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this list, and yeah, I hope it made sense.